right, well, it is time. It is time for some extreme spectrum purity testing. We're going to compare 9 different radios, and we'll go in order. Then we'll compare the results to all of them. Now, if you remember in the earlier video, I only looked at the second harmonic, which most people tend to ignore. I used the baseline frequency of 144.0, and we saw where there was second harmonics in the 289 megahertz range. This video is going to be different because we are going to look at the more common third and fifth harmonics. So stick around and let's get going. Well, by 9 radios, I really meant to say 8. Just shows that I don't know how to count. But stick around anyway and you'll learn something interesting. Thanks. All right, so let's start with an introduction to every radio that we will be doing the test with. We will do 3 different frequencies, 144.0, 223.0, and 432, and we'll see where those 3 harmonics come out. And again, as a reminder, we are using the Tiny SA Ultra. So that's what you're looking at on your screen is a output sweep from 100 to 900 megahertz. And again, the way that I'm differing my tests compared to some of the other results that we've seen is I'm doing live over the air testing. Now, every transmission that I make, I do need to identify with my amateur radio call sign because you are actually transmitting, even though low power, we are transmitting, over the air. So the plot, just as a reminder, we do have live over the air signal, so we can see some FM broadcast bands, as well as some commercial activity in the 462 range, and then some cellular coverage in like the 700-800, as well as some public safety. So that's what we're seeing. I'm just using a real small antenna here connected to the Tiny SA Ultra. So here we go. So in order of introduction, first we'll be testing the 1996 ancient Alinco 2-meter 440 handheld radio. So that'll be the first one, and I kind of consider that as a baseline. So we'll compare everything else to that. Next up, we have the tri-band Alinco DJ-G7. So this radio is capable of transmitting on the amateur 2-meter, 70 centimeter, and 23 centimeter bands. So 23 centimeters being 1.2 gigahertz. And again, just figured little oddball, but a good one to test against. Then we're going to compare against a radio that probably most of you have never seen. This is a Xiaomi Mijia. This was sold a few years ago. There's still a current production version out there, but this is actually similar to the SDR architecture in a Baofeng type of radio. I feel like the manufacturing quality on this is a little bit better, and technically this is a 2-meter and 70 centimeter handheld, and you can unlock it. Interestingly enough, it will only go normally from 144 to 148 and 400 to 470, but this was highly hackable, and some extended receive is available through some magic of software. So that's the next one. Then we get to our good friend, the Lanch HG-UV98. This is a 144 and 430 megahertz radio. It's not type accepted, so again, I will consider this as a good Baofeng-esque type of replacement. And the neat thing with this radio is it's an APRS radio, so it can transmit 1200 baud packet, and it has its own built-in GPS and Bluetooth, so you can pair this to a smartphone and all sorts of cool things similar to that Xiaomi radio. So even though the Xiaomi does not do APRS, it does its own proprietary version of a similar type of feature that we're starting to see in GMRS radios, which is kind of neat. So we'll compare those two. Then finally, getting out of budget land, we'll get into a Kenwood D-74, which is a 2-meter 220 and 430 megahertz band radio. Then we have, save the best for last, the reason to do the video in the first place. Then we have the Alinco, this is the DJ-MD IG-5XTG. So this is not their latest one, but their second to latest one, but all the same architecture. So we'll do that one. And then finally, we have these two guys, courtesy of my bud Joe, and when JTA, we have his HD1 on loan. And then we have the Ailunce HD2. So this is the one from the previous video where I did a inside out. And so those are the 9 radios that we're going to do some comparisons with. So here we go with our first test. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Have you ever watched one of those videos where they just drag it out and you have to watch it for like 25 or 30 minutes? Well, I'll save you the trouble of going through the test. So here we have the full results. You could watch all the extended video if you want, but here's the 144 megahertz test and what we determined. So now if we want to see what do these results actually mean by comparing the transmissions on 144, seeing where the harmonics are, here's a simple green thumbs up for passes, a orange thumbs up where it's kind of borderline but still passes, and a red thumbs down for totally fails. And then there's also a orange thumbs down for could kind of go either way. So clearly the HD2 is a stinker here. If we look at the 432 megahertz test results, we can see some fared a little bit better than others, but again, using the same very fancy thumbs up and thumbs down to make it very clear with what we determined. Here we can see the older HD1 was a total fail. Really everything on UHF worked out pretty good. Only the Xiaomi and the Lanch radio were just marginal, but UHF overall was actually pretty good, which I was fairly surprised about. Again, nothing too serious. And finally, not because every radio can transmit on 220 bands. Some do give off harmonics, but to be fair, I didn't want to show that here. But here we're just looking at the Kenwood D-74 and the HD2. And yeah, transmitting on 223 and seeing some harmonics. Let's just say a red thumbs down for the HD2. Very strange on 223 that it has a harmonic down in the 2 meter band almost as strong as its primary signal. The Kenwood radio does not suffer for that. So there's the cheat, and now we'll get back to the actual video. All right, so just to make sure that everyone is aware that I am transmitting over the air, that's why you can see me and talking through the radio, and you'll see the spectrum chart in real time. So here we go with the Alinco on 144.0 megahertz. Low power on this radio is about 1 watt, and the Tiny SA Ultra is a few feet away from me. I'm trying to replicate so we get about the same signal level from all 9 radios. So here we go with the first transmission. This is Kilo 2 Golf Oscar Golf testing on 144.0. All right, so we can see the results there. All right, so that looked pretty clean, you know, just for efficiency. Maybe we'll go to our next test. We'll just do that in order. So how do I program this radio? Been a while. All right, 432.0. So I don't know how well you can see that on the screen, but there we go. So now I'll transmit on 432.0. This is K2 GOG testing on 432.000. All right. 1 down, 8 to go. All right, who do we say is next? Then we'll do the tri-band Alinco. This is the 2 meter and 440 and 1.2. We're not going to test the 1.2 because then I have to reset the Tiny SA. So we'll dial up 144 and low power. Okay, here we go. Ready to transmit. K2 GOG testing on 144.0 with Alinco DJ-G7. Well, that one looked a little interesting. We definitely saw a pretty pronounced third harmonic there. Let's dial in the 432 frequency. There we go. All right, so now we'll test on 432, again with the Alinco G7. K2 GOG testing on 432.000. Oh, that looks pretty clean, I think. All right, now we're getting into some of the fun radios. What did we say was next? The Xiaomi. So if you wanted to look into this kind of cool radio, you can program this over an app on your phone. I think I got this in 2016, so it's been around for a while. Let's see, what did I program? 144.0. There we go. Option select. Okay. All right, so here we go. I don't know. Can the camera see that? Not too good. All right, well, here we go on 144. Oh, K2 GOG on 144.0 with the Xiaomi Mijia. Oh yeah. All right, well, what we'd exactly expect. Let's go and do 432 now. Channels, custom channel, select edit. Sorry, just dialing in the frequency here. Next, next, next. Okay, now we're ready to go. Hit OK. Okay, so on 432, K2 GOG on 432 with the Xiaomi Mijia. All right, so we got 3 down. Okay, then we'll do the launch radio. And I'll take the screen grabs for all these and I'll just make like a Brady Bunch style 9-digit grid here. So here we go. Here's the Lanch HG-UV98 on 144. K2 GOG on 144.0. So I don't know if you caught it, but let me do this again. So notice how there's a third harmonic spike, but you'll watch there's one in the 215 megahertz range. It stops only a few minutes into transmission, which is kind of interesting. K2 GOG testing on 144.0. All right. Now we'll do it on 432. Okay. K2 GOG on 432 test. 1, 2, 3 with Lanch HG-UV98. All right. 4 down and 4 to go. I'm saving the DMR radios for last for a reason. So we'll do Mr. Kenwood here. My Kenwood D75 is downstairs, and I don't want to have 10 radios, so I had to choose carefully here. So let's see. So low power. I want low. Okay. On FM. All right. So here we go on. Oh, I think we can finally see a frequency. There you go. So there's on 144.0. Here is K2 GOG on 144.0 with the Kenwood D74. So I think by now we're noticing a trend with harmonic output. All right, now we'll do the Kenwood on 432. K2 GOG on 432 with Kenwood D74 test. All right, we're getting to the end here. All right, so now we'll go Kenwood, no, Alinco MD5XTG. This radio takes a little while to turn on, which is always kind of bothered me, but whatever. All right, so I want to go low power, channel set, transmit power. Okay, there we go. I usually use this with my hotspot in the house, All right, so 144. K2 GOG on 144.0. Testing with Alinco MD5XTG. All right, and we'll do the 432 megahertz test. Ready to go. K2 GOG on 432 with Alinco MD5XTG. All right. All right, now we're down to two radios that look the same, the HD1 and HD2. So we'll use Joe's radio first. I'll turn this guy on. Yeah, the startup screen is a little bright there. So let's see. How do I get to, there we go, 144.0. And I got to take the offset off. We're doing some complicated stuff here. You can only do so much pre-setup. All right. There we go. All right, so now we are on, nope, low power, not high power, power, low. All right. No contacts. Now this one is on DMR. I'll have to come back to that one. All right. We'll skip to the HD2. Okay, 144.0. All right, so this is the HD2. We'll do the HD1 last. Low power. Don't lose attention. We'll get there. All right, low power. There we go. K2 GOG on 144.0. Testing. All right, we'll do the HD2 on 432 megahertz. You know, for everything that they tout as front panel, the HD series, I think they could improve upon that. But anyway, here we go. 432 megahertz on the HD2. K2 GOG on 432.0 with HD2 Retevis Ailunce radio. All right, so we have 8 radios done. Now I got to figure out why is this set HD1 DMR on 144. Should be analog. We're doing analog. All right, everything on K2 GOG on 144.0. So let's try that. Oh boy. And we'll do another A/B comparison on the HD2. So HD1 contacts. It's not my radio. And HD2, HD2, HD2. You notice I have 2 different antennas for a reason, but they're similar. K2 GOG on HD1, HD1. K2 GOG on HD2. All right, let's try the 432 side by side on both. I feel like I'm juggling here. All right, let's go. Here's the HD2. K2 GOG on 432. And here's the HD1. K2 GOG on 432 with the HD1. All right, I'm just going to key the 2 next to each other one at a time. HD2 on 432. And here's the HD1 on 432. Now let's just make sure that our test environment is not interacting in any way. So let's flip them around and do it again. So here we go, HD2, HD2. That's the HD2. And here is now the HD1. So I think we see the notable difference between the 2 radios at 432 megahertz. And maybe just for giggles here, we'll do one. You know what? We're gonna do on the HD2, let's go to 223. So we'll do 223 on this one, and then we'll compare the Kenwood D74 on 223. All right, so we'll do a side-by-side HD2 and D74. We'll do the Kenwood on 223.0 first. K2GOG on D74 223.0. All right. Oh boy, and here is the HD2 on 223.0. All right, well, there you have it. Hopefully this was an entertaining comparison. Now I'll do a Brady Bunch style 9 grid for each radio, comparing the 144 and another image of the 432. So let's see how everything compares.